Welcome back, everyone. This is Jacqueline Jax, and I'll be painting today this beautiful rose with the Spring Pastel palette. This is the palette that I created in handmade honey watercolors with beautiful pigments and no fillers. But what's really special are the two pinks. I love ballerina pink and peony pink from this set. They are so precious together, and I can't wait to paint this rose for you today because roses have long held a quiet power over artists, have they not? An enduring symbol of beauty, love, and fleeting perfection. But the fleeting is the most important part because if you're anything like me, a perfect rose is always avoiding us. It's the softness wrapped in strength. It's the elegance shaped by the layers that make it so hard. But emotions held aside, within those folding petals, we're going to find our own romantic, still life classical painter's rose. I personally have found that addressing the petals individually is the way to go. So we're going to take the edge of our brush, lay it down on the paper, and just wave it ever so slightly. That little tiny jiggle is going to give us that nice little curled edge. And as you lay the barrel of the brush down, it disperses some of the water to push away some of the watercolor, giving you such a lovely mix that is random and beautiful. The petals kind of have to be addressed individually, I would say, but some are curly and a little tight, moving inwards. Some are guarding the center, while others are wide open, catching the light. So there are shadows and then there are highlights in roses. And I think the best way for a beginner to learn a rose is just to realize that you're basically painting the shadows. The highlights are there, but when you go to add a little more depth in creating your rose, it's the shadows that you have to be most mindful of, because that's what makes the rose feel most alive. When we paint roses, we aren't just creating a shape. We're interpreting the light, the texture, and the emotion behind the rose. In watercolor, roses offer a beautiful opportunity to express flow and express softness. The most effective approach, though, is often to let go of rigid control and allow the medium to do what's best. Techniques like wet on wet are ideal for this because you can let the petals kind of bloom a little bit and then let the surface dry ever so slightly and then add in those shadows. The pigments gently disperse into the water, and that mimics that organic transition that we find in nature. Here you're seeing me add watercolor to dry paper, but then go back and charge that area while it's still wet, which would be more of the wet and wet technique. So technically I'm using both and they're working out fabulously. Starting with the light washes, it helps establish the overall form, while the gradually building of layers adds that depth and dimension. And remember, it's the shadows. So all the areas that distinguish the petals from the light, that's the part that gets the rose to stand forward. It's almost as if we're negative painting in a way, but we're negative painting within the rose. It can be used to define the outer petals and the inner petals, because next to the outside of an outer petal, there will be a shadow for the petal next to it, because that's the inner petal. And if you think in terms of that way, maybe your eye will start after some time getting used to seeing the shadows before it sees anything else. I mean, in theory, you could just throw a bunch of really, really light pink down on the paper, wait for it to dry, and then just start painting the shadows, and you will get a rose. But the key is the emotion, the dimensional quality that not only brings out the rose's luminous behavior, but also has that vital role in saying this is nature, this is soft, this is gradient. The subtle shifts in tone and even unexpected hues can bring a rose to life. So leaving areas of white space allows the painting to breathe and keeps the petals feeling light and delicate. Ultimately, painting roses in watercolor is less about perfection to me and more about interpretation. So although this rose looks very fluffy and beautiful and almost perfect, it's actually perfectly imperfect, because as I moved my brush, there are all of these lovely little folds and unfolds that happen in their own unique way, just like the roses that have inspired artists from our generation. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and a little comment below letting me know what you liked about it and if it was helpful. I also have tutorials on painting these lovely tulips, also from this spring pastel palette. There are 2 pastel palettes available right now in jaxwatercolor.com. I love them. I think they're so pretty. I love them for adding light back to watercolor paintings, and also just on their own to do these beautiful, delicate kinds of tones. I think they're just inspiring. In any case, I hope you find it inspiring as well, and I thank you so much for being here. I will catch you on the next video. Bye.